Hey, let's get started. These are all movies I grew up watching. As probably many of you grew up watching movies. That's your thing. Uh, so I'm going to go ahead get started on what movies have made a huge impact in my life. So I'll start off. I kind of had it where you couldn't see like the name of the titles, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. So, Jurassic Park. This was actually the second movie I saw in theaters. You're probably wondering what the first one was. Believe it or not, I can remember it was A River Runs Through It, vaguely. But basically, Jurassic Park, at the age of, I think, 4 or 5, that was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. I mean, as a kid, when you see this for the first time, it is just, you really believe that dinosaurs are roaming the earth, you know, on this island. But this movie, just the rewatch value, there's so much rewatch value. I can't tell you how many times I've watched this. Yeah, it just means a lot to me. I think I saw it with my mom at it was like a 99-cent theater. So basically, when a movie came out onto like VHS back in the early 90s, there was like a time frame where theaters, I guess, could get the rights to present the movie in their theater, even though it was about to come out on VHS. So you got to watch the movie for a fraction of the cost. So I think at that time it was 99 cents. Yeah, Jurassic Park, 1993, that was basically my first actual movie theater experience. I'm glad that was my first choice. So that's the first one on the list. None of these are in order. I'm just grabbing and going. I got off work a while ago, and it's winter time and it gets dark pretty fast, so I kind of just wanted to be outside. So if you're wondering why there's the woods behind me, you might see a little bit of the sunset. I just wanted to be outside because I feel it just gets dark too fast. The second movie, we are going with Jaws. I can't believe this is actually PG, but you know, for its time, that's what it was rated. But Jaws, the first time I watched this was, I'm a 90s kid, so it would always play on the channel TNT. It would be like in the middle of the night, this would be on, and I would watch the heck out of this movie. Classic. I mean, it still holds up till this day. I don't even like going into the water. There was a time, most of my life, being in the water didn't bother me, but in the last couple of years, I had rewatched this, and I was like, yeah, that kind of freaked me out, so I'm not gonna waist deep in the oceans, probably as far as I'm gonna go, and that's kind of pushing it. Yeah, Jaws, I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, Steven Spielberg did both of them, so he just knows how to bring out some bangers. Yeah, Jaws, a classic. You can't remake this movie. I know in today's age it's requels, prequels, sequels, but Jaws, it just needs to be left alone. It doesn't need to be touched. Next one we have is, actually this hasn't even been open yet, An American Werewolf in London. Classic werewolf movie. I watched this at a friend's house, and I mean, there's not much I can say about it. I mean, John Landis, he knows how to make, you know, a comedy, but he knew how to mix comedy and horror together, and you have this classic. Got an Academy Award for was it not special effects, but makeup. Not quite sure. It was one of those. I think it was 1981 when this. I think it was the first time it won an Academy Award for like prosthetics, special effects type of stuff. Yeah. Watching this as a kid for the first time, I mean, freaked me out, especially in the werewolf changing scene. You have Creedence Clearwater Revival playing right before that happens, which I thought that was fitting. They threw that song in there referring to the moon. But yeah. Next one, so this is kind of funny. Next one we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. My wife got this for me last year on my birthday. She had got it from McKay's in Tennessee. It's a massive store, sells books, movies, physical media, collectible stuff. She had got this for me for my birthday. Growing up, I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which I think they go back in time to China. I grew up with only those two movies on VHS. It wasn't up until last year on my birthday, we actually had a projector right here, and we watched on my birthday the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on my birthday. On my 36th birthday, I finally got to watch the first one. But yeah, I grew up on part 2 and 3. Part 2 was that was my favorite one. And for some odd reason, just never owned the first one until now. So you can shun me about that. Next one. Stephen King's It, the miniseries. The first time I watched this was early 90s. I was at home with my mom. She was ironing her clothes. And she was watching the Lifetime channel, which the Lifetime channel is like movie channel, television for women, I think was the slogan. So for some reason, Stephen King's It was gonna play, and my mom decided not to change the channel, and we watched it all the way through. It freaked me out. I mean, it's a classic. You can't go wrong with Tim Curry, rest in peace. But yeah, good coming of age horror movie. So let me set that aside. These are not in order, I'm just kind of going with the flow. Next one we have Jaws 2. This isn't open either. Just got that in the mail. Jaws 2. The first one's a classic. The second one's like, it's a guilty pleasure. It's decent. It has its parts. It'll never be as good as the first one. But Jaws 2 was always a guilty pleasure when they played it on that same channel, TNT, like in the middle of the night. Solid movie. Guilty pleasure, I have to have it. I mean, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, Jaws the Revenge, they're all guilty pleasure movies. Especially as a kid watching it. I mean, now that I'm older, it's kind of, you just watch it. It's a guilty pleasure, whatever. First horror movie I got to see in theaters. My mom took me to the same 99-cent theater. She wanted to see this as well. Scream 2. So this was the first horror movie I got to see in theaters. I never saw the first one. I just told my mom, hey, I really want to see that. I didn't think she was going to actually take me, but she wanted to see it too. We went to see Scream 2, the intro where the couple are going into the Jada Pinkett Smith and her boyfriend. They're going to the movie to watch, was it Stab 2? The whole bathroom scene, the whole intro freaked me out as a kid. And I told my mom, I want to leave. I'm ready to go. This is freaking me out. And she said, no, you're sitting down and you're going to watch the whole movie with me. You wanted to see this so bad, so now we're going to watch it. Ended up, I didn't regret it at all. I think the intro as a kid, first time seeing a like actual horror movie in theaters, solid. Next movie we have The Lost Boys. Classic 80s film. I watched this on, again, TNT. It'd be on in the middle of the night. And, sorry, I'm outside. I keep hearing somebody's driving by with a lawnmower randomly on the road. I can hear it. Anyways, Lost Boys. Classic 80s film. It was always on TNT randomly, like in the middle of the night. Some of these movies are like those TNT middle of the night. And as a kid, I'm staying up and watching them. I probably wasn't supposed to, but it is what it is. Anyways, Lost Boys. This is my first vampire film that I've ever seen. Corey Brothers, Kiefer Sutherland, you can't go wrong. 80s hair metal. Next on the list, another Steven Spielberg classic. We got E.T., the Extraterrestrial. I think I had this on VHS, but I mean, it's a sci-fi coming of age classic movie. You can't go wrong with E.T. Iconic. I can't wait to show this to my kids when they're a little bit older, which most of these movies I would want them to watch anyways. Next movie on the list, we got Stand By Me. Classic coming of age film. Story written by Stephen King. The soundtrack's amazing. This was also on TNT. There's a trend here. TNT was hitting those bangers at night, and I just happened to be awake, and that's how, back then, it's either you watch it on TV or you had a VHS tape and made a bootleg copy of it, or you bought an actual VHS copy of the movie. So Stand By Me, classic film. Ooh, the next one, The Never-Ending Story. So I don't even remember the first time I watched this. It may have been at school and they let us watch this. Obviously some parts kind of hit hard, especially as a little kid, but the practical effects, I mean, it's top notch. I wish a lot more films would have practical effects these days. Nothing wrong with CGI, but I think it has its place in film. But lately I feel like there's just too much CGI. And classic fantasy movie. The main song for it is amazing. Yeah, don't know what else to say about that. Ooh. Richard Donner and a Steven Spielberg classic, The Goonies. I'm telling you, Steven Spielberg, I feel like really defined my childhood. But The Goonies, coming of age film, kids looking for some treasure. Got some bad guys that are also looking for the treasure. Classic film. I think this was on TNT as well. Yeah, still holds up to this day. I don't think they would ever make a sequel. There's always been talks about that, but I think some films are meant to be made once and be left alone. Ooh, Indiana Jones, another Steven Spielberg classic. Actually, I got the trilogy in this stack. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. These haven't been opened because I just recently got these on sale for Black Friday, I believe. But Indiana Jones, classic. I mean, you feel like you're part of the adventure, and Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, it's iconic. I don't know if they'll have somebody, you know, fill in that role eventually, but if not, I'm okay with just keeping it how it is. Raiders of the Lost Ark, treasure hunting, awesome film. Ooh, another werewolf classic. This was definitely on TNT in the middle of the night. Another trend is Stephen King's Silver Bullet. Yeah, 80s classic. Steven Spielberg, Silver Bullet. I got it on 4K. Looks great. I think the only thing you may not see, but Corey Haim, the reds that you see in the film is a little too much red. I mean, it's like almost like somebody got sunburnt. Just the reds are popping a little too much, but classic movie. Classic werewolf movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. Let's move on to the next one. Another Steven Spielberg classic. Lost World Jurassic Park. I saw this in theaters. Same 99-cent theater in 1997. My mom took me. Oh, the trailer had me so hyped to see this. It's not as good as the first one. I think it's just its own thing. There's certain parts in the movie that are missing certain things that kind of leaves your head scratching. But as a kid, creature features I'm a sucker for. So Lost World, Jurassic Park, can't go wrong with that franchise. Ooh, a sci-fi horror. We're going with Alien. Still holds up to this day. It could be another 50 years from now and this will hold up. Excuse me. Alien. I mean, the suspense in this movie. I think as a kid, I got a little impatient with the movie because I wanted to see the alien so bad. But as I've gotten older, obviously, like, you appreciate the film a whole lot more. Great cast, great plot. The atmosphere is amazing. Define the end of time, I guess. So Alien. Another movie I saw, this was in 1997 as well at the 99-cent theater. Me and my mom would always go to the 99-cent theater and we would watch just about anything. It's like, I would say for the most part, as long as it was appropriate. The Edge with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin. This one was pushing it, I think, for my mom. I think mostly for the language, but not so much for the violence, which I was kind of surprised that she wasn't too concerned about that. But I think the language was kind of pushing it for her. I mean, we almost kind of walked out. I don't even remember what was said, but solid movie. Survival thriller, classic. Another Aliens, sci-fi horror. Well, there's horror elements, but it's definitely action horror. Aliens. It's a classic. Usually when Alien was on TV, Aliens was bound to come up and play as well at some point. Usually if it would be a double feature. But Aliens, classic. One of those few films, I mean, till now, it's you're going to have people say, which one's better, Alien or Aliens? And it's split down the middle. It's hard to say. They both have their things that are amazing. I saw this in theaters. It's a guilty pleasure. My second horror movie I got to see. I Know What You Did Last Summer. My mom wanted to see it. I wanted to see it. We watched it in theaters. I don't know if it really scared me. I think Scream 2 scared me a lot more, but I did enjoy this. Classic. I think they're going to do a remake of it. I'm not quite sure. I know there was like a TV series, maybe on Amazon Prime they did. I don't know if it was even good or not. I stopped at I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, but the first one is I always have a soft spot for. So next one, The Faculty. I think this came out 1998. I think it was 1999. I think they finished filming it in 1998. No, it says 1998. Okay. The Faculty. Awesome sci-fi movie. Bunch of high schoolers. I didn't watch this one till I was actually older, so I may put this in another list at some point. But when I was younger, I wanted to see this so bad. I believe at the time we had like Dish Network or DirecTV, and how they went about things was you could rent the movie. They would show you the first 5 minutes of the movie, and then they would cut it off unless you had paid to rent the movie. But I remember watching the first 5 minutes every time. I'm like, man, this is so awesome. But I don't know why I never asked my mom to rent it for me, because there were other movies she rented that were like way worse than this as far as like language and violence as I got older. So The Faculty, it just came out on 4K. I think the cheapest price you're going to get is actually through Shout Factory versus Amazon. So I paid like $8.99 for this, so I'll get it on 4K eventually. I'm just gonna hit these back to back. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I think I watched this one more than the other ones, and believe it or not, you can shun me, I still haven't seen past the intro of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The intro was awesome, and for some reason every time I would try to watch it, something would happen right after that, the intro, when Indiana Jones is younger. But I think I'm gonna plan to have a rewatch with these with my wife, because she's never seen them, believe it or not, and she likes those like adventure type of movies, and Steven Spielberg done it. So, and the last one, it's actually getting pretty dark. Scream, the first Scream, 1996. I did watch this a few years after it came out. Solid. I mean, it put the slasher genre back on the map. The first 10 minutes, maybe I mean, it's a classic. The intro of the movie, let alone, you thought Drew Barrymore was going to be one of the main characters, and she ends up dying after the first intro. So that one's on there. Now I have a few that I have not bought yet, and I'm kind of waiting. One of them is The Sandlot. That came out in '93. I remember seeing that in theaters. I want to buy it. It's on Blu-ray for like $12.99 on Amazon. But I've been seeing and hearing talks on the internet about The Sandlot coming possibly to 4K early next year, so I'm going to wait on that. I have Disney Plus, so I can put it on there and watch it until then. I hate to buy a Blu-ray and then it's going to come out on 4K, you know, a few months after you just invested your money. But yeah, that's my... Oh, no, I have one more. Jeff Cronenberg's The Fly from 1986. That would come on TNT a good bit as well. You know, it's body horror, but as a kid, seeing that for the first time, and I'm pretty sure they didn't really cut anything out in the early 90s, and you know, seeing old Brundlefly vomit on the guy's leg and melts his foot off. I mean, that was pretty gross, but the movie, amazing. Special effects, or the practical effects, amazing. I mean, to me, yes, it is a body horror, but let's be real, it's a love travesty at the end of the day. What could have been turned into a bad situation. Guy got unlucky, turns into a fly, and that process is pretty gross. I don't think you can remake The Fly. I think it is great as it is. For especially for its time, it still holds up. Excuse me. But that is all I have for now. It's getting dark. Like I said, I got off work. I didn't want to be inside and then it just get dark again. I still need to make a backdrop. I have a bunch of stuff I need to put together. I got tons of movie posters. It's literally like a treasure chest filled with rolled up movie posters. So I'm gonna get that whole setup fixed. It's around Christmas holidays, so everyone's running around, busy, spending time with family, getting ready for Christmas and New Year's. So I'm gonna be in the process of doing that. That way you won't have like a sketchy backwoods backdrop while I talk about this as it's getting dark. But I just wanted to come outside, get a little bit of daylight before it got dark. Love to have you guys join me. Let's talk about movies, physical media, top 10 lists, whatever. I am down to talk about movies. I love movies. I'm going to try to not edit this, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of pausing, little things like that. This is my first video I've ever done. I will get better at this, but I'm 37 years old and I can't tell you how many times I've told myself, yeah, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel, or I'm gonna do a video on movies, I'm gonna talk about movies, and time goes by and I never do it. I keep telling my friends I'm gonna do this, and you know, I'm sure from their standpoint it's, oh yeah, good, you should do it, man, that's awesome. And then before you know it, I'm gonna be 40 and still haven't done anything. So this is my first video. I'm not gonna really edit this at all. There's a lot of hiccups in it. I'll work the kinks out as we go. I'll get better at this. But thank you again for joining. Can't wait to post another video soon. So thank you.